Okay, I don't know about copyright, if this song is copyright or not. Hello, everybody. Welcome to today's stream. My name is Jolly Green. I'm the Jolly Green Gamer. Turn that down a little bit. There we go. And hi, Honest Etoile. Thank you for the purple hand hearts. Let me actually do that for the song. So let's go ahead and start because I'm playing Kona. There we go. Bring that volume back up. Northern Quebec.
Carl Fulbert sought information for a living. That is to say that ever since he returned from Korea, after having served with the armed forces, he had been working as a private investigator in Montreal. William Hamilton, a rich industrialist, had gotten in touch with him regarding a simple vandalism issue. Nothing to write home about. Not worth hiring a private eye either, just so he can drive for hours on rough roads. But that's how it had always been. The client pays, Carl gets it done.
Alright, let's go further.
They had set up to meet at the general store, his client's business. Well, actually, the entire village had William Hamilton's name written all over it.
Is this just going to be a narrated story?
When the roads were bad, muddy, or snowed in, it was customary around these parts to close them off. But it was also customary to ignore those signs entirely and drive there anyway.
A is run. What about the toolbox? Can I get that? No? Okay. So, I realize that there's only 2 people that just want to watch this game. Not necessarily this
Hamilton
street.
never mentioned a road blocking barrier. Why was it needed here in the back of Beyond? That would, however, be a mystery for another day. Carl had waited long enough for someone to come and raise it.
Thank you, Mr. Narrator, for interrupting me. Anyway, I'm gonna stand still so I don't trigger anything else. Realize that this game is very obscure. And I'm already an obscure channel. I barely have any followers. I'm so obscure I don't even get paid for this. I do this for fun. Anyway, so let's go ahead and move on. Oh,
Still not a soul in sight. There was no point in waiting any longer. Carl had to figure this one out by himself. Hamilton is waiting for Carl in the general store. It was time for him to get down to business. William Hamilton enjoyed a lavish country house built in the very heart of the northern forests, not too far from here. The local populace was divided when it came to the affluent man. Some saw a wealthy philanthropist dedicated to improving the region's economy. Others, an aging Englishman who would do anything to further his fortunes. And those ones hated him enough to go on about scheming against him. Hamilton had recently acquired a few local businesses, but the last straw was the reopening of a mine, which gave rise to a wave of protests and threats from the Cree people. Given these circumstances, Carl reckoned that a good number of people must be feeling compelled to oppose Hamilton in one way or another. So far, only the industrialist's house had been a target, but soon enough, Carl thought, the target would become the man himself. Carl needed to get out of there. The cold and the pain required urgent care. This deep in the country, his last hope was to find an abandoned garage or a farm by the roadside. His life depended on it.
okay.
Carl wondered how long he would have to endure this skin-stinging cold. Even better than he had hoped, Carl Faubert had succeeded once more and was now on his way to new adventures.
I need a log. Nothing. No. I need a log.
The Polaroid, Carl's long-standing and faithful ally, had seen its share of husbands caught red-handed cheating. There's always something out there waiting to be snapped away. Carl, ever diligent in his work, always carried his log on it, in which he scribbled down thoughts and leads alike during the course of his investigations.
I don't want...
Cold turned into pain. Carl needed to find someplace warm.
Yeah,
The flames won't grow without some help. Other materials were required.
There's a useless wooden boat here that I could chop into pieces if I had something to... Oh, so you can actually die. Okay. Load checkpoint. Okay. Couldn't use the telephone.
Hamilton never mentioned a road-blocking barrier. Why was it needed here in the back of Beyond? That would, however, be a mystery for another day. Carl had waited long enough for someone to come and raise it. Still not a soul in sight. There was no point in waiting any longer. Carl had to figure this one out by himself.
So I gotta go back up here. Grab that, grab that, grab that. Let's go.
The cutters made quick work of the chain. What better way to investigate vandals than to get into their shoes, Carl, the professional vandal, thought, reveling in the irony of the situation. Hamilton is waiting for Carl in the general store. It was time for him to get down to business.
Alright.
William Hamilton enjoyed a lavish country house built in the very heart of the northern forests, not too far from here. The local populace was divided when it came to the affluent man. Some saw a wealthy philanthropist dedicated to improving the region's economy. Others an aging Englishman who would do anything to further his fortunes. And those ones, hated him enough to go on about scheming against him. Hamilton had recently acquired a few local businesses, but the last straw was the reopening of a mine, which gave rise to a wave of protests and threats from the Cree people. Given these circumstances, Carl reckoned that a good number of people must be feeling compelled to oppose Hamilton in one way or another. So far, only the industrialist's house had been a target, but soon enough, Carl thought, the target would become the man himself.
A few hours later. So in just a few hours, it goes from fall to middle
Carl
of the
needed
winter.
to get out of there. The cold and the pain required urgent care.
Okay.
Carl wondered how long he would have to endure this skin-stinging cold. But better than he had hoped. Carl Faubert had succeeded once more, and was now on his way to new adventures.
Shut the door. Okay, so I have a fire started. What now? I think I did it too fast for the game to like acknowledge that I did it. Even though it definitely knows that there's a fire there. I sit in the chair. Okay. What do I do now? I made a second fire here. What now? That's where I'm at now. And I'm supposed to get to the general store. But if I go out there, I'll die. I don't know. I'm so lost of what I need to do. In order to, like, proceed. Oh. Wait, I have the chain. Close. How do I heal my wounds? bottle, pincer, Polaroid film, no first aid.
Carl, ever diligent in his work, always carried his log on him, in which he scribbled down thoughts and leads alike during the course of his investigations.
Yeah, see, even in my notes, it says that the weather was supposed to be 52 degrees. But it's more like 22 degrees. And blizzard. Like, where did the blizzard come from? There's nothing else in here that can help me. There's nothing up there at all.
The driver had taken off. It was still best to check it out and leave nothing to chance. Carl needed help. It was a small, locked box engraved with the letters W.H. Carl thought about taking it. Nothing was to be left to chance. Such heart-wrenching Nordic poetry that was. But Carl didn't care much about flowery language.
know I'm in bad shape. I got the damn chains on the tires. I need to move on, you know? Let's go in here. Turn that back on. And let's where's the lockbox? Cigarettes, locked iron box. Key is required to open this. So lost.
Carl, like many of his contemporaries, felt like he had more trouble breathing when he wasn't smoking. Cigarette was his own personal breathing assistant. Complaining was not in Carl's nature. It would take more than light injuries to interrupt his investigation.
Wait, was that all I needed to do was smoke a cigarette? what else do I need to do? Like how can I move on? Just let me move on. Using this trunk. I see a first aid kit. I got the first aid kit. Inventory. No. Consumable. First aid kit. Oh yeah.
Spread out on a few acres of untouched forest, bellowing caribou, everlasting snow, and undefiled lakes, the Manistan region was no tourist hub. It was said to have been populated for millennia by Cree people, and ever since the industrial era, by the metal mining industry. Jean-Luc Bédard had without a doubt been the closest man in the village to William Hamilton, otherwise known as Uncle Willie. The truck was running on fumes. Good thing that the general store was close by. Something fell to the bottom of the box.
What?
Carl had no trouble recognizing his employer. He had been killed. There was no need to be a detective to figure that out. But only a detective could have noticed that the killer had to have been very close, that the fatal blow had been given before the victim even realized.
I'm a master photographer.
Carl felt a chill down his spine and had a terrifying realization. If Hamilton was dead, then who was going to pay him?
Mr. John Va Montreal. top of his arm. This is a mess. Mysterious unbranded cans.
An explosion suddenly occurred outside.
Oh no, there's wolves. Got wolves over there. I ain't ready for no wolves.
The note explained that the garage and the store couldn't be supplied with electricity at the same time.
Turn off. Turn on. There we go. Okay.
Maintaining his composure, Carl recalled something from his military training. Wolves always stay away from populated areas. Wait, was it about bears?
Let it be known.
Hate was in the air. Seems like some villagers barely tolerated each other.
Let it be known you are nothing more a brigand, a robber, a garbage hoarder, a viper, a leech, a monster. You're holding a knife at my throat. Too bad for me, but
Carl was used to strange phenomena, but a chunk of ice like this, as if an iceberg came out of the ground, that was a first. Prince? Carl found a surprise at every turn. Was the camera faulty, or was it a possible lead? The milkman had to drive by every week to fill the bottles. The fresh milk indicated a recent visit. Carl knew that Gilles Lachance was in charge of the general store. That made him one of Hamilton's employees. A very angry employee, as Carl could plainly see.
you know what, Hamilton? I have a frog in my throat. And when people have a frog in their throat, they do not take risks by going to work. Customers can catch it, right? I'm a wise man. Not to worry, I will have a nice doctor's note, which I'm going out to get right now. Sadly, in the meantime, I will have to close down the shop unless you would like to come fill in for me. I wouldn't dare advise you, after all. You must know how it's done, since it's yours now. With kind regards, your dedicated manager, Michelle.
The snowstorm pummeled everything in its path. Carl was not surprised when he heard no tone.
Anybody in there? Why would I break the lock? For what reason would I break this lock? secretary wouldn't be luxury in here.
Jumping from that height was akin to tempting death. Perhaps that man on the snowmobile had seen enough of this world already. A nice picture of the Magasin Lachance store, seemingly taken the day it was first opened. It feels frozen in time, from an era long forgotten. Amateur hunters showing some pride at having killed a nice pelted beast. With men like this roaming the area, wolves would become extinct within 10 years, Carl thought.
Didn't even travel half the province of Quebec to come here. No thanks, I ate too many of those in Korea. A broken park, how convenient. Okay.
Carl was no electrician, but he could identify a wiring problem when he saw one.
Nothing. Get into there.
The monks wouldn't surrender their divine nectar so easily. In all likelihood, they had to be switched on from inside the store.
I'm going to drink maple syrup. Serious unbranded cans. I need the lights back on. First aid kit. Hey, a garage key.
According to that log, it seemed like the whole village owed some money to the general store. Carl was far more interested in the bunch of nearby addresses he had just gotten his hands on, though.
Alright.
Carl was no electrician, but he could identify a wiring problem when he saw one. Hardware. Pliers.
radio on. I don't listen to radio even in real life. At least we know it's fragile. Anything else in here? No? Alright. Let's go fix that wire. Go.
Carl knew straight away where to find the infuriated Gilles Lachance. Any good investigation would have to start there. Carl felt that the store and its surroundings still held their secrets, and he didn't like to miss out. The track was fresh. That meant the car sunk down just a little while ago. Now where the hell could the passengers possibly have gone? Someone had been playing with a crossbow here. A very dangerous game. A bolt could hit someone's tire or their eye. It could even kill someone if the aim was right.
Alone loot. 10 Polaroid film.
Someone must have dropped this in a hurry, but whoever did was heading into the woods. Carl's tracking instincts were quickly kicking in. Someone must have dropped this in a hurry, but whoever did was heading into the woods. Carl's tracking instincts were quickly kicking in. The Polaroid, Carl's long-standing and faithful ally, had seen its share of husbands caught red-handed cheating. There's always something out there waiting to be snapped away. Carl wondered how long he would have to endure this skin-stinging cold. Carl felt engulfed by a wave of cold, and for a second thought he was fainting. All of a sudden, 4 phantasmagoric figures were fixing their gaze on him. What the hell was going on? Carl sensed that the cold was beating a retreat, as if he was moving away from some kind of center of gravity.
I lost the tracks. I'm lost. I'm gonna follow my tracks back.
Carl knew why he was suddenly shivering. He was going back to the realm of visions. The further Carl moved away from the ice block, the more his senses came back to him.
Alright. not gonna let me go any further.
There was only void where the road should be. Carl hated dead ends. He felt trapped. It was as if the road had drowned in the lake. He would have to find help by another route.
So it's not gonna let me drive that way. And it just filled the gas.
The cold was burning Carl. He would not hold up much longer. He had to warm himself.
Yeah, I know. Oh my god, I'm gonna die.
Numbness was giving way to awareness. The vision was wavering.
No, I want the map. Where am I? The key. It's my second death.
Carl knew straight away where to find the infuriated Gilles Lachance. Any good investigation would have to start there. There should be a law forbidding doctors from falling sick. In spite of Dr. Beaupré's goodwill, the place didn't look much like a physician's office. It could easily be mistaken for a sewing shop.
Unknown woman. I never did quite catch her name. The men called her Laura. She had a neck wound. There was so much blood. The bullet had done a lot of damage, probably hitting the cerebellum. It was hopeless. She had a cardiac arrest. The men had found her like this, they said. I doubt it, but in a small town like this, it's usually best to turn a blind eye. I've been told to step back from sending out the death certificate. This whole thing sickens me. No medical explanation whatsoever can explain why old Rosaire is still alive. As we in the trade say, the only way to cure him is to kill him. Sylvie Bedard, all of her symptoms point to the same root cause. She's pregnant. She refuses it. She denies it. I'm willing to bet her husband is not the father. Let's just hope it's not Everett Lockhart, though, or she would have an illegitimate child and a syphilis on her hands.
There was no doubt that the doctor and Hamilton knew each other very well.
You can't be cured. Chronic foot pain, can't walk long distances. Rich, I'll cure him of that one day.
The good doctor, flanked by his beautiful spouse. Pure happiness, captured on cardstock. Carl recognized this woman's soulful eyes. Was it Dr. Beaupré who had hit him head-on at the village border? Doctors used light-reflecting frontal mirrors to look inside the patient's cavities. That was a bit unsettling, but back then, it was pretty much always the case with medicine.
Painkiller.
Dr. Beaupre had done his medical studies quite far from here. He was surely one of the first students out of the new campus to settle on the mountainside. A communist manifesto. Only a few years ago, this type of allegiance meant prison time. And even at present, the Western world was very wary of the Soviet threat. Why would the doctor own such a book?
Communist Manifest, the history of all hitherto to hitherto existing society is a history of class struggles, freeman and slave, patrician and plebeian, lord and serf, guild master and journeyman. In a word, oppressor and oppressed stood in constant opposition to one another, carried on an uninterrupted, now hidden, now open fight, a fight that each time ended either in a revolutionary reconstitution of society at large or in the common ruin of the contending classes. In the earlier epochs of history, we find almost everywhere a complicated arrangement of society into various orders, a manifold gradation of social rank. In ancient Rome, we have patricians, knights, plebeians, slaves. In the Middle Ages, feudal lords, vassals, guild masters, journeymen, apprentices, serfs, and almost all of these classes again subordinate gradations.
A chamber pot. Fortunately for Carl, inspecting it wouldn't further this particular investigation.
Store in a cool, dry place with a constant temperature, they said. Earth doesn't look this big from here. The doctor is apparently fascinated by history.
Someone had lost a few liters of blood here. Carl's first thought had been a lumber accident, someone's hand cut by a saw, or a hunting accident. In any case, whoever had lost all this blood couldn't. Perhaps they were already dead.
Yeah, it's telling me to take out my camera because the picture was not a good picture because there was no light. So let's see here. Do we have electricity somewhere? Yes. Close it. Close it. Unlocking a door isn't enough.
For the one-eyed, or for other vision problems, the eye patch was the way to go. Carl got the trembles as he imagined the excruciating pain that kind of scalpel could no doubt inflict. Within these miserable walls, patients probably felt more like in a slaughterhouse than in a doctor's office.
My nightmare. We already saw that. I don't even see any lights. Oh, there we go.
Someone had lost a few liters of blood here. Carl's first thought had been a lumber accident, someone's hand cut by a saw, or a hunting accident. In any case, whoever had lost all this blood couldn't have gone far. Perhaps they were already dead.
Isabel.
A chamber pot. Fortunately for Carl, inspecting it wouldn't further this particular investigation.
Okay.
Carl felt like he knew the doctor now. His belongings had spoken lengths about him. But what Carl had heard worried him.
Alright, let's move on to the next area. Wow!
Oh, mon bonhomme! Tu fais là, l'étrange. Je m'attendais pas à ce qu'un étrange retentisse par ici. Moi te dire, je prends plus de chance depuis que ça rôde dans ce bout-là. J'ai ma carabine au bout du doigt, et puis bang, 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 si ça s'approche. Si tu veux du linge chaud, parce que t'es habillé comme un gars de la ville, je dirais pas non à une bonne bouteille de caribou. Puis tu pigeras ce que tu voudras parmi mes guinées. Oyez, 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 il y a un petit gars d'écarté dans ma maison. Mon beau bonnet du bon temps. Puis ma ceinture, où est-ce que je glissais mon flasque. Le monde tournait plus con quand on s'habillait tout de même. Vois-tu le livre, là? C'est le Wendigo. Ouais, le Wendigo. Un guerrier qui devient un loup pour se venger de sa grosse peine. Et...
I'm not gonna read all that.
Gomme-moi la belle rose de la tulipe, qui se donne au yob sur le mercredi des cendres. C'est-tu pas effrayant, cette histoire-là? D'apparence que mon caribou tarde.
I don't have any.
Gadon, ça ouvre la pantille. Prends-la, je m'en fous. Perds ton temps dans mes déchets tant que tu rapportes du caribou. Tu m'amènes un bon galon de caribou, puis on devient amis. Tu sors avec moi,
Ammo.
An axe. Not too shabby. Carl felt he needed to protect himself.
I'm gonna use this hatchet to open up this cask. This. I guess I can.
Tu m'amènes un bon galon de caribou, puis on devient amis. Sinon, mon petit gars, tu sors avant que je te sorte. Ah, la belle pétarade. En 17 que c'était. Et le Kaiser, il se souvient de moi avec ma belle carabine. Bang, bang, que je lui disais. Bang, bang, bang. Ah, le bon temps. Tu marches, tu marches, tu marches, tu sens des pieds. Ben oui, une couche. Tu peux-tu tout faire en même temps, toi? Touche pas à ça, l'enfant, tu pourrais te faire mal. Vois que t'as pas mieux à faire. C'est vrai, le jeune, que tu te promènes quasiment en bobette. Une bonne police, ça te fera pas de tort. Mais je vais te dire une chose. Dans ton coin de pays, comme par ici, on n'a rien sans rien. Et où, mon caribou? Tu m'amènes un bon galon de caribou, puis on devient.
There, Carl had fed his mind, but had forgotten the harsh reality that his body also needed nourishment, especially in the dead of winter. The Polaroid, Carl's long-standing and faithful ally, had seen its share of husbands caught red-handed cheating. There's always something out there waiting to be snapped away.
I don't get it. Okay.
The place looked more like a pigsty than a house. A heavy stench of curdled milk, cheap alcohol, and boiled cauliflower filled the air.
Cheap alcohol. Gun rack, a gun rack. Where's the cheap alcohol? Why wash dishes when clean ones are within reach?
Carl knew right away that the owner of this place wasn't a copper collector. No, this was a junkman's base of operations. The guy definitely seemed like quite the expert in scavenging scrap metal, with or without permission, surely. In the right hands, red metal could sell like hotcakes.
Jars are overrated.
The rag reeked of fermented vomit. Carl wondered how one could bear to live in such gross and horrid conditions. You had to be out of your mind to cook up white whiskey at home. The all-surrounding stench of alcohol alone was probably enough to gas a man to death. You had to be out of your mind to cook up white whiskey at home. The all-surrounding stench of alcohol alone was probably enough to gas a man to death. Rock music invaded the minds of men even in the remotest of places.
That's Led
The
Zeppelin.
man didn't own a turntable, though, so there's that going for him.
This is where I'm gonna get my caribou, but I don't know how to make it. Hey! Nope.
Carl now knew how to quench the drunkard's thirst.
White whiskey, too much isn't a valid quantifier for that. Sherry wine for added mellowness.
At Jean Blouin, seems like that pig had a name after all. Carl felt that it was mission accomplished, with the wicked nectar in his hands.
C'est-tu que t'as mon caribou pour revenir demain? Ah, quand on cherche, on trouve. Parce que je t'aime bien, à cette heure, je vais te dire quelque chose. Tu fais bien de prendre ma pénice. Parce que par là-bas, tu vas rencontrer le vrai froid. Un froid qui glace comme t'en as jamais connu dans ta vie.
All right, got the coat. All right, so now where do I go from here? Oh, there's another house way out there, too. Yeah, the door closes on its own. Alright, so now that we got the coat, we'll do endure the cold better.
The old man's cabin had been very generous to Carl. He couldn't have asked for more. The man seemed petrified in ice. What Carl saw terrified him, and he didn't know if it was the fear or the cold that was responsible for his hair standing on end all over his body. The poor man, before being frozen solid, seemed to be defending the entrance to his cabin. But from what? Something very important must have been in there for the man to take such time and effort to hide it. But Carl didn't know how to reach it.
A flying saucer of life never ceases to amaze me.
The machine appeared to be missing something critical, something necessary for it to take off. The shape of this machine, almost straight out of Star Trek, was out of the ordinary to say the least. It felt like this thing could fly up into space at any moment.
How many orange juice bottles? Okay.
To all appearances, Carl concluded, the owner of the place had moved more essentials from his house inside the garage. Peculiar man indeed. The very first steps of man on the moon were made more than a year ago. The event had surely captivated the mechanic's mind, for him to still keep this around.
Something isn't right when your bed is in your garage. How am I supposed to get up there?
Carl had a hunch that there had got to be a plan somewhere that could help him put this thing back together. Carl had a hunch that there had got to be a plan somewhere that could help him put this thing back together.
Okay, so I have suspension. What I need for the suspension is just the tracks. I have that. Ski, don't drink more, don't drink more. Machine came to help me work on the machine yesterday. But he helped me check my levels down to the last drop. I think we tried to ski or something. Bad idea. Still haven't found that one ski we lost in the process.
Weird stuff. Kind of a crossing between a colander and a hairdryer. What was it for? To play telepath? To protect against nuclear waves?
Follow up on a complaint.
Roswell, Atamipek, same story. Large deserts conducive to extravagant follies.
Dear Mr. Lamont, following up on your complaint, I'm afraid that the police cannot support your claim alleging the sudden appearance of a man who came from outer space on your village's territory. Manifestly, what happened at Roswell, New Mexico left a deep impression on you, and we would urge you to consult with a physician as soon as possible. Regarding future potential complaints, let it be known that the Judicial District of Abitibi does not believe in little green men.
Carl deducted this was a map of the area. Were those pins pointing to places of interest?
Going along is unnecessary at this time. Got that right.
By following the plan, Carl was led to believe that the snowmobile's parts had to be scattered about in the vicinity.
I have the headlight, I just don't have the handlebars. Need one more ski. She needs the bench. How am I supposed to find the bench at?
The milk was sorted by color, from the whitest to the greenest, or in other words, from the freshest to the sourest. Perhaps someone was expecting an important call. In any case, that person's in for a long wait. Carl already noticed that telephone services weren't provided in this area. The week of October 5th, thought Carl. That was this week. The plug should have been here by now.
Green milk for little green men. Gross. Parts gotta be around.
was a motorless car. The mechanic sure had an odd way to go about repairing things.
There's the second snowmobile ski. But I want the handlebars off of it.
Well, this truck's not going anywhere. Where were the amputated parts? Carl grinned as he pictured a Frankenstein-esque car lying around somewhere made of parts from a dozen different vehicles.
Well, you know what? It's been 2 hours. It's been over 2 hours. I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up here. And if I can, options. Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna wrap it up here. Thank you for watching. I do appreciate it. Join me next Thursday for some Cult of the Lamb. I'll continue Kona next Saturday. Check out my YouTube channel if you haven't already. It's under the same name as my Twitch channel. And give me a like, subscribe, comment there, and don't forget to hit that notification bell. And thanks again. Have a good day. Bye.